Okay, let's just review what we have. So this is complementary contrast. Here we have saturation. Here we have light and dark, value. Here we have hue. Hue is the most intense. Now remember, with hue, you can actually use all the colors of the visual spectrum. You don't have to stay with just primary colors like I did. So let's keep going. I think I'm going to go back to the 5x5 color grid. Yeah, I'll go back to the 5x5 and I'll do a save as. I'll call this value 1. We'll call this saturation 1. Complementary 1. And the 9x9 I'm going to save for something else. So I'm just going to go back to hue 1. And I'm going to rename this temperature 1. And this time, I'm just going to try to focus on contrast of temperature. So let's start over. Make all the grid units black. Turn the outlines on again, just make them white so I can see them. So temperature, again, warm and cool, so we know that orange is really the warmest color. So I know I'm going to use that. And in the opposite corner, I'm going to put blue, because I know that that's the coolest color, or maybe blue-green. There we go. In the center, I'll just put yellow, yeah, just as a possibility, because I'm thinking about temperature contrast. Maybe one part of the composition can be all about that sensation of temperature contrast. Warm and cool colors. Warm in the upper left, up here. And cool on the right side. And we'll just take a few, maybe like a green color, which is sort of a neutral color in between. Just turn off the white grid lines, make it a little bit cleaner. Let's make a few little variations here. It's pretty nice. Split half and half, warm and cool, with one strong focal point, this red over here, and the yellow also very commanding. Yeah, this actually stays pretty cool. A little bit of warmth coming down here now. That pumps up the red a little bit more. That's nice. Contrast of temperature. With this one green square down here, really kind of calling attention to itself, acting a bit of as a focal point. Now remember that you can use any hues in between those warm and cools. Doesn't have to be the one straight out of the palette like I've done. Here you can make blends of warm and cool, become a little bit more, say, specific about being really warm or really cool, or all warm or all cool. It's all about experimentation. Okay, on the last one, I'm going to go back to the 7x7 grid. And I only say last one because we're going to be dealing with contrast of extension here. And this one is the one that requires the proportions. Call this extension 1. Get rid of this band. Black. Bring back the white outline so I can see what I'm doing. Now here, we really want to have this idea of proportion. So I'm going to be dealing with those same proportional equivalents, those ratios that we talked about with contrast of extension. 1 part yellow to 3 parts purple. 1 part orange to 2 parts blue. Equal parts red and green. And those are going to create sensations of either balance or imbalance, depending on how much I want to stay within those proportional ranges or stray out of them. So initially, I'm just going to deal with maybe the most extremes, so yellow and purple. So I know that I want to have 1 part, or the equivalent of 1 part yellow and 3 parts purple. So in a group of 7x7, I've got 49 units. And I can think about dividing that into 4 parts, which I believe, so 4 is going to go in there about 10, 11, 12 times is 48, something like that. So if I put in 12 squares of yellow and 36 or 37 squares of purple, I'm in a pretty good sense of balance. So let's just see what happens if I just select, let me just select these and just go for the yellow. And this, of course, is going to be an asymmetrical composition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, I can take one away. I'll start adding in my purples now. In fact, I can select all of these. Yeah, so the goal here is to create a balance of color where the yellow doesn't dominate. So let's just see. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 units of yellow. And out of 49 squares, that leaves me with 7 units of purple, I believe, which is about right, about the right proportion. And let's just see what happens. If I add in 1 more yellow square, if I just change this to yellow, let's just see what happens. You can see how quickly the yellow starts to take over. And as I'm doing this, the purple still has a pretty good chance of dominating, but the yellow is really starting to take over. So let me just undo all that. And getting back to this. I could even take 1 more of these yellows away probably and stay within this. So there, you have a nice sense of balance between the purple and the yellow. As I reduce the yellow even further, it becomes less of a factor. Now the purple is starting to take over a little bit. And this is very subtle. You can try the same experiment with, say, blue and orange, red and green. See what happens as you change these colors and as you merge the colors into certain proportions, and begin to judge for yourself. How far can you stretch the color in one proportion before it starts to take over too much. So we see here this contrast of yellow and purple, and how the yellow is not quite dominating. It's almost there. Just a few more squares and it would really dominate the composition. The purple just has enough to keep it balanced, not too much, not too little. Okay, so we've gone through the 7 color contrast, not the 7, we've gone through 6 of the color contrasts. And the 7th color contrast is simultaneous contrast. And that idea is most effectively demonstrated in the Albers color studies. So we're going to move from Johannes Itten's approach to color studies and studying color contrast, hue values, saturation, temperature, complementary extension. And then we're going to move on from there into simultaneous contrast. And we're going to change the way we think about the composition. So we go back to Albers working with making 3 colors look like 2, making 5 colors look like 6, and take it from there. In this lesson, we looked at the teachings of Joseph Albers and Johannes Itten. In the next lesson, we'll go in depth into simultaneous contrast.